Okay, it's Friday afternoon. I finally got in the bath. Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about some overlooked aspects if you're trying to get well and follow a nutritional protocol, especially the GAPS protocol. Number one is your detox baths. So I'm soaking in some Epsom salt with it has little floating peppermint leaves in it because my sister-in-law gave me this blend and it smells really good. But the benefit of detox baths is to keep your skin nice and open. Your skin is one of the biggest detox organs that you have, and I think we often forget that. So if you can soak in Epsom salts one night, then rotate to dead sea minerals, which I found a nice big bag online. Just ordered that and throw that in there sometimes. Baking soda is another thing you can use. Apple cider vinegar works. Or just plain sea salt. I've heard some people say that they use that too. But you need to find some bulk quantities because you need to use a lot. I think people don't understand. Like when I looked at this container that my sister-in-law gave me, it said put a quarter cup in your bath. That's not enough. You need to use like 2 or 3 cups and really get it saturated in there. Even more if you can. If you went to one of these magnesium float spas, they put so much magnesium in there that it's just like the Dead Sea, and you would literally float in the spa. Like you can't keep your body underneath the water because there's so much magnesium in there and it's so concentrated that your body floats. So you don't need to be scared about how much magnesium bath salts you put in. Go generous, and then try to soak in there for at least 20 to 30 minutes. And you want to do this 2 or 3 times a week if you can. And the magnesium also will help keep your magnesium up, because if you're starting to cut out carbs and processed foods, really good chance that you're going to be flushing a whole bunch of magnesium and minerals out of your body. So soaking in the baths is one way to do that, and it also can help clear up, skin issues and just overall. The other main reason is because it gives you just this overall feeling of relaxing, well-being, which you need to do when you're starting any new protocol. You need to relax and give your body a chance to heal and just mentally get away from everything. So soaking in the bath, maybe you can get an hour. That would be nice. If you can't, try for 20 minutes and just kind of put a sign on the door. Mom's taking a bath. Leave me alone. Oh, that's what I do anyways. So yeah, that's one of the aspects. Next is, it kind of goes along with the bath too, but your soaps and toothpastes and dish soap, all those things, laundry soap, that's number 2, and that's huge. So take away any toxic chemicals that you might be using, especially the softeners that you put in the laundry that smell very strong. Those are just really, really bad for you, bad for your hormones. They're just bad for so many things. So anything with a artificial fragrance, get rid of it. And go for the all-natural toothpaste, which there's so many really good ones on the market now. All-natural soaps. You can find a lot of these products really anywhere now. Health food stores, even the main stores seem to be bringing a lot of that stuff in. And the online farmers market, or of course in person at the farmers market, there's a lot of crafty little vendors that make a lot of cool stuff by hand. Or you can be, extra zealous and make stuff yourself. I don't have time for that, but I know a lot of people, my sister makes a lot of stuff and she actually gives me some of it. She'll make like tallow hand cream, and then some face cream that she made for us, and it was so good. So yeah, you could try that. Anyways, yeah, and then number 3 we're going to talk about next is getting outside, getting in nature. Okay, so I lied. I said we're going to go outside. That was going to be the next thing that we're going to talk about, but we're going to make number 3 iodine. So another thing that's overlooked is iodine, and we're going to talk about how easy it is to support that. So I just use this J. Crow's Lugol's solution 5%, and what we're going to do is something called iodine painting. So after your bath, what you can do is just take this solution here and pick a different spot each time after your bath, but paint the size of your palm roughly. And if you're going somewhere in public, I mean, pick somewhere discreet that nobody's going to see. I'm not going anywhere for a little bit, so we're just going to do this. So just kind of rub it on there, and it's kind of going to look like that, which is fine. And you're going to let it dry, and that's just going to naturally absorb into your skin. Your body's going to absorb what it needs for iodine. Iodine is needed so desperately in the body to displace any halogens, and we have halogens that we're absorbing and taking in all the time. Other things that are very similar to iodine that will attach in the receptor sites and block the iodine absorption are chlorine, bromine, and fluorine. So those are found in processed foods, swimming pools, plastic bottles, tap water, new clothes, carpet, furniture, and obviously toothpaste. So that's why I opt for the fluoride-free toothpaste, and try not to swim in swimming pools that often. A lot of times nowadays they're actually switching to a salt in some swimming pools, so maybe it's not as bad. All cells use iodine. Every cell in the body, so we need to keep our iodine up. And if you're anything like me, we don't eat a lot of seafood, like maybe a little bit here and there, but there's not a lot of iodine found in the foods we eat, so we need to replenish it. So this method is very safe and gentle. That's why I like it. Some people will take it orally, but I don't do that. And then if it disappears in less than 12 hours, that means you're really deficient. What you should do is keep repainting it every 24 hours. You'll see within 24 hours it probably disappeared. And then if it's still there after 24 hours, then you know that you've kind of reached your thresholds. You're good to go. Next, we'll get outside. Okay, we're moving on to number 4. Get outside. Woo! Got some nice flowers going on out here. Oh, we got there's some baby birds inside here too. So we want to get outside and not be scared of the sun. Today's definitely not sunny, but that's okay. Even when it's a little bit cloudy like this, you're still gonna get some vitamin D action. A lot of people don't realize this, but trans fats from vegetable oils, margarine, all those nasty oils that they put in processed foods are stored under the skin in the place where healthy, correct cholesterol should be stored in. So if you start switching your diet to proper fats, like tallow, butter, ghee, even pure pastured lard is amazing. Once you start switching your diet, you'll probably notice in a couple months that your skin is able to tolerate the sun a little bit better. I do know that has happened to quite a few people, so I don't see why you shouldn't give it a try. If you're finding that you're burning easily in the sun, it might be because those improper fats are being stored under your skin. And to make the vitamin D, you need that proper cholesterol to do the conversion. So so many people are suffering and really deficient in vitamin D, and that's probably one of the major reasons why. So we need to remember, get outside gently and slowly at first as you start to change your diet, but you can't be scared of the sun, and you can't be slathering the sunscreen on. If you do burn easily, the best thing to do is wear light colored clothing and a hat until you can adjust and get used to the sun, which will happen. One thing about getting outside, get your feet in the ground, on the grass. Grounding is so important. There's a documentary called Grounding, and I recommend everybody watch it. It is amazing, all the things that happen to your body inside when you get your feet on the ground. And I just found this soft little patch of grass right here. The actual your blood cells actually change what they're doing. When they monitored people that were grounding, the blood cells they could see were kind of clotting together and kind of being really sticky, and then when they started grounding, they could see that the blood cells separated and moved more freely through the veins, which I thought was amazing. But it also is just so refreshing. Your whole body's made of electrical currents, and once you touch the ground, you're grounding yourself and kind of re-establishing your own electrical current. So it's super important, and it feels lovely. And you can see flowers like this and just add a little bit of extra happiness to the day. Okay, so the last part we're going to talk about is supplements, and this, I'm going to try to keep this as clear as I can because supplements can get kind of confusing. When you are changing your diet and implementing some new things, especially the GAPS protocol, your body's probably in such a deficient state that you may want to start with supplements. Not a lot of supplements, there's just a few that we're going to go through. Because if your gut is leaky, you're definitely going to be deficient in a lot of vitamins and minerals and nutrients that your body needs. So any conversion that happens, you might take something and then it converts to something else, that will be impaired. So sometimes just giving your body a little bit of a boost by taking some supplements at the beginning of your protocol can help quite a bit. So we're going to start with essential fatty acids, and I do have some notes here because we want to keep this clear and it can be a little bit confusing. So there's omega-3 and omega-6, and due to years of damage and deficiency, like I said, you might need to do some supplementations. So for omega-3s, the richest sources are flaxseed, hemp, chia, and a little bit in walnuts, pumpkin, and egg yolk. Omega-3 converts into the EPA and DHA. This conversion, like I said, might be impaired by toxins in the body blocking that conversion, or just because your body might not have these cofactors needed to do the conversion. So you need vitamin C, B3, B6, magnesium, zinc, enzymes to do that conversion. So you most likely might be lacking in those. And some of the functions, these are just such, the omegas are so important for brain cells, nerve synapses, visual receptors. The list goes on and on for those. I just jotted a few down. So the direct forms of those, you can also go for cold water fish for EPA and DHA. So you probably heard of how we're all supposed to eat cold water fish. Well, what is that? So salmon, clean salmon, of course, none of this farmed stuff. Wild salmon, sardines, mackerel, trout. Eating plenty of these will give you a lot of the EPA and DHA. But a lot of people don't like fish, I find. Maybe over time your tastes might change and you could try to slowly introduce things. I had really never ate sardines myself, and then once I started introducing it and trying it in different ways, I actually, you start to like things, so you might want to give that a try. If eating it is just totally out of the question, then of course you would want to try supplementing those oils from a quality source. Cod liver oil is been around forever and can be really helpful. So then the other omega that we're going to just talk about is omega-6. So omega-6, essential for brain function, immune, hormones, inflammation, and this converts into something called GLA, AA, and DGLA. So this can be found in walnuts, hazelnuts, pecans, Brazil nuts, and some seeds like sunflower, sesame, and pumpkin. But we have to be careful with nuts and seeds, as you'll learn throughout the GAPS protocol and any Weston A. Price information. Preparing and storing your seeds properly is so important. You don't want to consume them just raw. So maybe I'll do a separate video just on soaking and fermenting and sprouting and that sort of thing for the seeds and the nuts. So those can be a good source if they are dealt with properly. So to do that conversion, we need lots of magnesium, zinc, B3, B6, vitamin C, which again, you could be very deficient in. So a direct source of the end product, the conversion end product of GLA and DGLA is evening primrose, borage oil, blackcurrant seed oil, and then the other derivative is something called AA, so arachidonic acid, and this performs vital functions in the body, also like cell growth, immune function, detoxification, and due to toxicity and just a dysfunctional body, a lot of us can lose lots of AA from your tissues, so you really need to replenish it on a regular basis. And the best sources of that is, and you might have heard this already, but grass-fed pastured meats contain a high amount of AA. So meats, eggs, dairy, this is where you get that from, and preferably fermented dairy like kefir and properly fermented yogurt. And if you're doing the GAPS protocol, you will learn all about how to do that and how easy it is to do it yourself. There is a lot of high quality products on the market if you want to just buy some. You want to look for whole milk, non-homogenized if possible, and some of them actually say right on there that they are pasteurized at the lowest temperature required, so that would also be a bonus. So if you do decide to supplement these, start gradually. You might get a reaction if you supplement these oils too quickly. If you're severely deficient in fatty acids, you can have funny things pop up when you start replenishing yourself. So start really small. And that kind of goes for everything, any supplementation that you start. If you're in a really deficient state or a weakened state, you really want to start slow and gradually build up, and that goes for sure for any fermented products. Start very slow. Cod liver oil, like I said, is great. It gives you A and D along with the EPA and DHA. You can start with just 1 teaspoon a day. Fish oil, you could do 1 to 3 teaspoons a day and just build up to 1 to 3 teaspoons, for a child, 3 to 4 teaspoons a day for an adult, and you just want to build up to that very slowly. Extra virgin olive oil is also a good source of fats. However, it's not as good as the saturated animal fats. It does provide omega-9, it's anti-inflammatory, it stimulates bile, and it does have a lot of antioxidant properties and a lot of other amazing benefits if consumed in its raw, natural state. Don't ever cook it, and find the best quality that you can. There's a lot of olive oil in the market. Make sure you find the best one. Coconut oil is also another great oil. Again, looking for one that's not been processed in its raw form. It should taste like coconut. If it says like deodorized or refined, it'll even say that right on there. Don't get that. Coconut oil, I find, has been a little bit demonized because it is higher in saturated fats, and that's really been demonized in general. But a neat little fact that I found was, so coconut oil is 50% lauric acid, and that converts into monolaurin in your body, which is a very highly potent antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, and you'll often see it used for like candida overgrowth or fungal infections. So there's a lot of, just by eating things in their natural form, there's a lot of good benefits to that. So the next supplement we're going to talk about is vitamin A. So vitamin A is very essential. It's used in so many things, again, like the other ones. Reproduction especially, immunity, vision, brain development. So to absorb retinol from dairy, liver, eggs, and other foods, you need good bile production, and you also need pancreatic enzymes. But as we talked about earlier, your digestive system might be a little bit impaired and it might not be working that well. So you might think that you're consuming some vitamin A rich foods, but you're not able to absorb it or convert it into its active form. So having a leaky gut and malabsorption and being sick a lot are all some symptoms of a vitamin A deficiency. Luckily, a natural form is found in cod liver oil. So taking a little bit of cod liver oil every day can kind of cover a lot of bases. It is also found in liver, high-fat meats, eggs, high-fat dairy, and oily fish. But like I said before, a lot of people tend to avoid these. So certainly our young teens and even our young children, that's not something that you really see in their diet. So a lot of our young ones are really deficient in this. So changing their diet to include more of those things would certainly be ideal and probably help with any mental health or anxiety or any learning problems and stuff like that, because it's really healthy for the brain. A couple last supplements to think about. So digestive enzymes. So that could be a stomach acid booster. Most people have low stomach acid. So really digestion starts with that first part of the stomach, and you need to have that high stomach acid. So you might want to consider supplementing with some HCl just to get that stomach acid up, and you will see that it could help in so many ways to bring the digestive system back into balance. The next thing is pancreatic enzymes. So these help to break down the food in the small intestine. But if you boost your stomach acid and get that functioning properly, the stomach acid will trigger the pancreas to release those enzymes. So boosting that stomach acid is key, and that can solve the problems right there. Some people might need a little bit more support just until the body, you know, starts getting balanced again. So you might need to add some external enzymes. And then lastly, we'll just talk about just general vitamin mineral supplementation. First thing is food. You want to start with food first. A lot of these supplements on the market cannot be absorbed. They're full of binders and fillers, which may irritate your gut even further. So just really be careful with what supplementation you're adding, especially these synthetic forms. So once your gut begins to heal, deficiencies should start to fade away naturally, and you shouldn't have to add a whole bunch of supplements. I would say start with your diet first, then as things start to balance, if there's still some lingering things and we can directly see that it's from a deficiency, we can add stuff down the road. Magnesium is something that I think is pretty safe overall, and most of us are really depleted and deficient in that. And if you're cutting out processed foods and carbs, like I mentioned earlier, you will be flushing a lot of electrolytes, so replenishing magnesium I think is really important. Glycinate is ideal, or malate, or the magnesium baths. And just a last note, some people feel that they might be burdened with heavy metals, and they might start doing different heavy metal detox protocols, or taking supplements that claim to move heavy metals out of your body. Please be careful with this and don't jump into anything like that, because you can really mess yourself up. The certain supplements could say pull these heavy metals out of a certain spot in your body where your body might have tucked it away to protect you from those heavy metals. You might pull it from that location, and then if you don't do the protocol properly, it could drop it in another location and cause even more extensive damage or problems. So do not jump into that. The recommendation in the GAPS protocol is to try diet at least for 2 years, and then down the road, if you're still experiencing symptoms of a heavy metal burden, then look into a very specific protocol with somebody who's really skilled at doing that. So that pretty much wraps up our little chat. So yeah, just to recap, we talked about, you know, our detox baths, getting outside, iodine supplementation, reducing chemicals in your house, and supplementation that can help just support you along in your journey to feeling better and getting well again. So hope it helped a little bit. you.